the indictment and arrest of Wendy and Edward Osefo of the 1900 block of Turnberry Court in Finksburg, Maryland. Both Wendy and Edward are reality actors in the series The Real Housewives of Potomac, Maryland, which is filmed partially from their residence in Finksburg, Maryland, an hour away. On April 7, 2024, at approximately 10:13 p.m., deputies responded to a residence in the 1900 block of Turnberry Court in Finksburg for a reported burglary. Edward Osefo called 911 to report the burglary. Edward and Wendy Osefo, both from Finksburg, live at that address, and they have 3 school-aged children. They reported that their home had been burglarized sometime between April 2nd and April 7th of 2024 while they were on vacation in Jamaica. The house would have been vacant at the time with no one house sitting. No one had a key to the residence, according to the Osefos. The Osefos claimed that designer handbags and jewelry valued at more than $200,000 were missing from the primary residence bedroom upstairs. Responding patrol deputies handled the burglary according to policy and made contact with investigators with my major crimes unit to assist because of the dollar amount that was stolen. Crime scene investigators came to the scene the night of the report to process the scene for fingerprints, DNA, and anything of evidentiary value. And while I'm there, I want to thank the state police. They actually responded, and the superintendent of the state police, Colonel Butler, I want to thank him for working with us on the case and providing resources. It should be noted that the residence does have interior and exterior surveillance cameras. None of the cameras picked up any motion or indicated a breach inside of the house. Cameras also did not pick up any suspicious activity outside of the residence during the time the Osefos were away from the residence. Detectives also checked surveillance cameras from neighbors. No evidence of a break-in or suspicious activity was noted at the Osefos' residence. Patrol deputies and detectives found no signs of forced entry or physical evidence of a burglary, such as footprints, fingerprints, or any entry point. The Osefos alleged that the burglar came in through a second-story window into the master bedroom. There was no evidence inside the residence that someone made an attempt to get into the residence through that particular window. No evidence indicated that anyone attempted to enter the house. The bedroom upstairs where the theft occurred was ransacked. The mattress was thrown off of the bed onto the floor to give an indication that a burglary did occur. Initial responding deputies again called our investigators because of the high dollar amount that was stolen. After the initial report, following days, we made contact with 3 separate insurance companies that the Osefos used to insure their property, which is common with this loss this type of loss that detectives actually communicate with insurance companies to share information. In the days following the initial report, the Osefos contacted detectives several times to provide additional information about the alleged burglary, evidence, and missing items. They also reported the loss to their insurance company. Again, the Osefos alleged and claimed that just over $200,000 in items were stolen from the burglary. Weeks after the alleged burglary, detectives discovered Mrs. Osefo had posted photos on social media wearing jewelry that matched items she had reported stolen, specifically a diamond anniversary band. Detectives were provided receipts by the Osefos for the loss of items that they had purchased dating as far back as 2018. On those receipts were email addresses. We had become suspicious that this was a false claim. On those receipts were email addresses, which detectives authored search and seizure warrants so that they could access both the Osefos' email accounts to attempt to acquire more evidence. The emails provided additional evidence that indicated this was a fraudulent claim, specifically Edward's communication with Wendy, and I quote, "Are there additional high-value items we can add to this inventory list? I'm trying to get the total to exceed $423,000, which is our policy maximum." Over the next several months, detectives worked diligently to verify the information provided and to locate the reported stolen property. It was later confirmed that Mrs. Osefo had returned several of those same items valued at over $20,000 to the place that she originally purchased prior to the alleged burglary. We can see as far back as 2018 and several items that had been purchased in 18 and receipts supplied to the insurance company, only those items had been returned to the purchaser or to the store that she purchased them from during the window in 2018 of the return policy. Meaning if it was a 90-day return policy back in 2018, she actually returned those items within that 90-day period. Those receipts were supplied to us, and those receipts were supplied to her insurance company and were alleged by the Osefos to be stolen in the original burglary. Based on a thorough investigation conducted by detectives in my office in coordination with the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office, it became clear that the Osefos had fabricated the burglary and filed a false report and attempted to fraud their insurance company. On October 29th, 2025, the case was presented to Carroll County Grand Jury, which returned indictments against both Edward and Wendy Osefo on multiple counts of fraud and false reporting. Both individuals were located and taken into custody at their Turnberry Court address on the afternoon of October 9th, yesterday, by the Carroll County Sheriff's Office detectives. Deputies executed a search and seizure warrant at the residence during the arrest. An additional 15 items that were believed to be reported stolen by the Osefos during the initial report were also located during that search and seizure warrant. Those items included jewelry and high-end handbags. The Osefos were booked into the Carroll County Detention Center and later released on $50,000 bonds, on $50,000 bond. Real quick, I'd like to acknowledge the work that my office did, Detective Richie Harbaugh. My detectives, they're just absolutely amazing. Richie's one of the finest detectives on the planet. High praise for him. Also, the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office, Mr. Shoemaker, Mr. Culver, and Melissa Hockensmith is who handled the case for the State's Attorney's Office and has been working with us diligently on this case. I'll now turn it over to the State's Attorney if he has some comments, and then we'll answer any questions you guys may have.
Okay, good afternoon. In response to the various media inquiries that I've gotten today in connection with this matter, I've indicated to everybody, and I want to emphasize it again, as a threshold matter, that all persons are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So I want to get that out front. As the sheriff indicated yesterday, the defendants were indicted by the grand jury for Carroll County in connection with Wendy Osefo. It was 7 counts of insurance fraud, 8 counts of conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and 1 count of false statement to a police officer. They posted bail this morning. So also in addition to what the sheriff alluded to a few moments ago, I'd like to note that the investigation in this matter, and I certainly want to give props to Detective Harbaugh, who worked in close proximity with my Deputy State's Attorney, Melissa Hockensmith, in connection with this matter. But the investigation determined that on April 8th, 2024, the Osefos initiated 3 separate insurance claims for the alleged burglary and theft that occurred at their residence. And those were against Travelers Insurance, Jewelers Mutual Insurance, and Homesite Insurance Company for their alleged losses. Mr. Osefo gave recorded statements to 2 of the insurance companies regarding a list of stolen items. He was also asked whether any of the items on the list had been returned, which he denied. He was asked if he had other insurance but failed to disclose to Homesite and Jewelers that he was also making a claim with Travelers. For a homicide insurance, both Edward and Wendy signed a sworn statement of loss, which was notarized. The total amount of loss claimed on the sworn statement of loss was $2,500 for the damage to the building itself and $450,000 estimated for contents and personal property. He included an inventory of reported stolen items along with receipts for the purchase of most of the items on the inventory. That claim was denied due to the failure to disclose the policy with Travelers. And in the original claim submitted on April 8th, 2024 to Travelers, Edward is alleged to have confirmed that he and his wife were wearing their anniversary bands when the loss occurred. However, Edward called Travelers on April 10th, 2024, and said he needed to update their claim, stating that his wife's gold diamond anniversary band was missing. So that same day, Travelers settled the claim for $25,380, which included the replacement price of the band, which was $4,500. After the initial reported claim on April 11th, both Wendy and Edward signed and submitted letters to Jewelers Mutual claiming the burglary occurred and items were reported stolen. At the request of Jewelers Mutual, the Osefos provided an initial list of 57 stolen items. Included on the list was Wendy's gold anniversary band that was reported in the Travelers claim. On April 22nd, Edward was interviewed during a recorded call and did not make any mention of the jewelry claim or payout with Travelers. So essentially, I know that the burden will be on my office to show that Edward and Wendy conspired to make fraudulent statements and provided misleading information in support of making the 3 insurance claims for financial gain. I'd also note that some folks may view insurance fraud as an innocuous crime since it only affects insurance companies. That's certainly not true. Insurance fraud affects all of us in the form of increased premiums that we all bear, so we take those offenses very seriously. Thanks.